This is a PSA, or public sock announcement. Experts have declared Bombas socks as the best way to warm up chilly feet. These pairs are super cushy, soft, and designed for maximum coziness. Plus, for every pair purchased, another pair will be donated, so someone in need of essential clothing can stay warm this winter. Go to bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/listen and use code LISTEN at checkout.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. How is everyone doing? This is certainly not a normal setup for where I'm usually at. I had to travel down over the weekend, go down south, getting ready to head up to Calgary this week. Very excited about it. Very tired because it was a busy weekend. I had to make sure I had all my stuff ready. I don't know about you guys, but getting ready for a trip, I think I'm probably the worst prepared person out there. It was like Saturday night, had to leave early Sunday morning to drive down south to get close to the airport, and then I gotta work here for a couple of days. But I had all the time in the world to get prepared, but for whatever reason, I just left it all until Saturday night and decided, I don't need much, and then turns out you ended up needing a lot. So anyway, bit of a different setup obviously today, so that's okay. We'll get back to our usual setup 2 weeks from now, believe it or not, and the whole scheduling for at least the episodes coming out are going to be a little bit different. You got myself today, no Neil today. He caught a flu or whatever it was. It's the buggy time of year, and I won't be available Thursday because I'll be 5,000 feet in the air at the time of the recording, so I won't be able to do anything Thursday. We're going to be back at it on Monday, so next Monday, where I will be in Banff at the time of the recording. And I will also it'll be just after the game on Sunday when the Flames take on the San Jose Sharks. And I'll be there for that one. So obviously, of course, the one game of the year where I go to see the Flames and it's like the worst against the worst team in the NHL. And who knows, I'm hoping it's at least a good game, right? But a lot of games this week, a lot of action to cover, kind of getting everybody ready for the week to come here. And, obviously just reacting to you saw the emergency pod that we put out on Friday morning. Obviously, with the trade that happened, you get them going on Saturday and Sunday, and there's a whole lot we got to get to today. So I figure I get all cozy, I get all wrapped up, and we'll try and cover as much as we can today. As it was a bit of an interesting weekend, but we'll try and cover whatever happened on the weekend. We'll get everybody ready for the week. And then I won't see you guys again until next Monday. And then obviously for the following Thursday, I won't be available again because I'll be 5,000 feet in the air. So that's how this is going to look for the next 2 weeks. And then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming. So let's dive into this past weekend. So very quickly, Saturday happens. Not the greatest of start. I thought the Flames came out on Saturday against the Red Wings very strong. Fortunately, the Red Wings took over, couldn't really capitalize, and the Red Wings ended up taking that one 3-1. So instead of looking at Saturday, we're going to act more happier and look at what happened yesterday as the Flames ended up taking down Seattle Kraken there 3-2. Morgan Frost gets his versus the Flames. The Flames had a rocket ship start basically in the first period, and that one kind of slowed down. They were very fortunate that this game, I thought the Kraken were going to tie this thing up. Full credit to Daniel Vladar, who really held the fort there at the end. Again, Flames got off to a really great start, though. Obviously it happened from the no goal early on from the Kraken. Frost ended up getting his first. Funny how they don't even have his picture yet on the NHL site, so they got to do that eventually. But it was a great shot from Frost just at the top of the circles there. Ripped it past Joey Daccord, so great job for him. 2 power play goals as well, too. Something we'll talk about during this game here. Sharangovich gets going again. Jonathan Huberdeau collects his 20th of the year. By far, he's having a great bounce back year for the Flames. Face-off percentage, so much better yesterday, all the way at 58%. Immediately helps for this team. And then, unfortunately, the Kraken kind of found themselves back into this one here. Kaapo Kakko got one in the second period there. Tanev there got halfway through the third period, about a quarter of the way through the third. And all of a sudden, you're starting to think, man, are the Kraken going to tie this thing up? And I thought for sure they were going to tie this thing up. And who knows what happens, go to overtime. But thankfully, Calgary's able to hang on here. And I think the biggest story really was just that very rare fast start to this game, because what happened the night before against Detroit is the Flames finished that game, and then they didn't land in Seattle until 3 a.m, right? And then the guys were talking about it after the game. I think Huberdeau was mentioning it, and I think Frost was mentioning it as well too, where, guys can bitch and complain about landing there at 3 a.m. and then all of a sudden you got to play a game at 7, and they can sit there and complain about it, or they can go out there and perform, and that's just exactly what they did. So full credit to those guys for getting off to a really good start early in that game, and thankfully that was enough to hold on until the end. So one quick note here to mention too is that Coronado kind of felt awkwardly there at the end there in the third period. Goes off to the bench, immediately jumps back on. No concerning news coming out of that camp there, as he's going to be okay moving forward, it seems like. But yeah, overall, really strong first period for these guys, for the Flames. And unfortunately, you don't like the way that it finishes there. You don't want it to be that close. This is a game where it really should have been a track meet, but hey, you got to take them as you get, right? I think the one big thing I wanted to bring up, though, was this power play for the Flames has been really good. You get the 2 power play goals in this game here. So with the 2 goals and the man advantage, the Flames had power play on the power play, have now scored in 5 of the team's last 6 games. They've gone 7 for 19 in that stretch. It's good for a 36.8% conversion rate, which is 4th in the NHL around that stretch. So it's also worth mentioning, too, that while the Flames may have an average power play for the season as a whole, 22.2%, which is 15th in the league. They've had the 7th worst power play unit over their first 20 games of the year. So it's definitely turned things around a bit. They've jumped up a bit as of the last 25, 30 games or so. And mentioning here too as well, in the 32 games they've played since, their power play has been converting on a 26.4% of their opportunities, which is 8th best in the NHL over that stretch, which is kind of surprising just based on the players on the team. You look at the power play unit yesterday, just on the third goal alone with Jonathan Huberdeau, right? You got him, you got Weegar, Kadri out there. Guys, normally you'd see guys like Connor Zary out there, who's hopefully coming back this week to skate. You might see Zary later on this week in action. We'll see how that progresses. But overall, it's something that's really, I'm really happy to see that the power play has continually gotten better and better. And now you get a little bit more help, possibly on a second power play unit, maybe with Morgan Frost and Joel Farabee, or maybe he sees top power play units. Who knows, right? But it's really, really good to see that the power play is now all of a sudden starting to turn things around a little bit for this team. Also, to a quick shout out to Daniel Vladar. I thought he was sensational in that third period when they needed to be here. I think you can look at the shots here in the third period as the Kraken were just, it was kind of a quiet second period there outside of Kakko scoring, but it was frankly all Seattle there in that third period as they just kind of took over and they tried to push this late rally. And, right at the end of the game too, especially when Daniel Vladar, he stopped it with 1.5 seconds left. And, they had the face-off in the power play too, with 10 seconds left. They were still in the Kraken zone. So it didn't seem like the Kraken were going to get a great chance, but they kind of did get one on goal there at the end, but unfortunately it didn't go through, and the Flames hold on for a 3-2 win. So again, though, shout out to Morgan Frost getting his first as a Flame. He mentioned too early on that he had an open net opportunity. He probably should have buried that one. Was thankful that he ended up still getting one though in this game. And also good too, a little shout out to Sharangovich for just getting back into the rhythm of things a little bit more. Pospisil is collecting another point as well. So you're getting now what you're getting or what you're hoping to get down the stretch now is just more contributions now with the additional help of Frost and Farabee. So you're trying to, tap into those guys' potential, but you're also trying to unlock a little bit more from Sharon Govich. You're hoping to see more from Martin Pospisil going forward. And you're going to get some good games this week at home where it's going to be a good opportunity for this team to continuously figure things out, what's going to work now with these new additions, and see what gels in these next 4 games at home, especially, which is super helpful. So the one thing that still jumps out for me, though, in this game is that 58% mark of the face-off percentage. So that's big. 0 for 3. Again, the penalty kill was huge again for the Flames. Kraken go 0 for 3. The Flames had 5 power play opportunities, managed to get 2 of them in, though, which is great. Block shots were key in this one, too. Giveaways, a lot more by Seattle. I mean, the one that kind of led to Morgan Frost getting his first of the year. So, overall, great win, great jump start. This is probably one where they should have had it, going into the second and third. You want to kind of get away from the Kraken a little bit, being up 3-0. That should be a comfortable win. But luckily enough, they were able to hang on at the end, and the Flames hang on to win 3-2. So with the win, the Flames now move 2 points ahead of the Vancouver Canucks in the wildcard standings. Now games are even there. So it seems like it's a good horse race there. The other thing to keep note of, too, is that the Flames are 1 point back of the LA Kings for the third Pacific Division spot in the playoff standings. So lots of games to be decided. They're sitting right there with the LA Kings, potentially could jump them as well, too, as we kind of go down the stretch here. A lot of big games, though, to come up. Other than that, from this game, though, that was pretty much it as terms of kind of what I wanted to cover there. We'll come back here. I'll do a quick ad read here. Again, not going to be a super long episode today. Just wanted to cover some quick bases here for the rest of the week. But what we'll do is we'll do a quick little ad read. We'll get ourselves ready for the week here, and we'll make sure that we'll get everybody ready for, of course, the big game on Tuesday, which is one that I'm always not really looking forward. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Like, I am looking forward to it, but we'll explain that all in a minute as we'll take a quick ad read break and we'll get back to previewing some of the games this week. Have you played Pick 6 from DraftKings? What are you waiting for? You better get on it. It's Super Bowl 59 coming up. You got a lot of great NHL games coming up too, as well as we enter the Four Nations coming up too. The last time to play NFL and NHL Pick 6 this season as well. As the official daily fantasy sports partner of the NFL and the NHL, DraftKings does fantasy sports like no one else. Play for better payouts out on Pick 6. It's super easy to get started. You select 2 or more players. Choose to have more or less of a stat like touchdowns, yardage, sacks, goals, block shots, who knows, and more. Pick 6 is available in most states, including Missouri, California, Texas, Georgia, and more. And DraftKings is making it even sweeter for first-timers. New Pick 6 customers is play $5 to get $59 in Pick 6 credits. Win more cash on Pick 6. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to play $5 and get $59 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. All right, let's look ahead to this week a little bit here. Tuesday night, big matchup, the one that I painfully always wait for every year. The Leafs continue their Western Road swing. They got a good win in Edmonton on Saturday. They look to continue it going into Tuesday night as they head to Calgary, as the Flames will be taking on the Leafs for that one there. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it looks like Dustin Wolf will be getting ready for that one on Tuesday. I believe Joseph Woll will also be getting the start for that one. No news in a round of Connor Zary getting some ice time this week. Trying to get back out from that injury. Luckily, it was best case scenario though for him, so I'm super happy that we might be able to see him on Tuesday. That game will be dropped off at 9 Eastern, but just looking at quick notes here, again, Wolf is going to start it over Joseph Woll in that one. Little tidbits here: Toronto is a 31-19-2 record overall, and the Leafs are 11-2-2 in games decided by 1 goal. So the key for that one is going to be you got to get going early again there in that one. So. The Leafs can score on so many different levels, right? With the guys that they have in their top 6, I don't need to name them. But if with their record in 1-goal games, and the amount of games that the Flames have been in close this year, especially the 1-goal games, you have to think that the Flames have to get off to a really good start early on, like they did last night against the Kraken, and they got to try and find a way here to maybe separate themselves a little bit early on from the Leafs, because, you get them involved and it's a close game, towards the end. You got to go in favor there of the Leafs a little bit on Tuesday, and you got to hope again that you're relying a little bit on Dustin Wolf to kind of show up and have his best game of the year, because you're going to get some guys who can put up nothing but points on this Leafs team. So that's just something to be aware about here. Two quick top performers here as well going into the game on both sides. You got Coronado, who scored 13 goals and 15 assists for the Flames this year. Marner's got 16 goals and 54 assists for the Leafs so far. Matthews got 7 goals as well over the past 10 games. So Flames currently 500. Leafs are actually 4-6 in their last 10 as they're going to try and keep it going. And outside of the Zari injury on both sides, there is no major injuries going into this one on Tuesday. Still lots of time beforehand, though, because there's still lots to be decided. But, yeah, you got to get off to a quick start against this team on Tuesday, man. You can't afford to keep them in this game because they can score at will on any given Sunday, on any given day of the week here. So you got to find a way to get up early on them and hopefully not make it such a close game as the game progresses. And, again, you need a little bit of heroics there from Dustin Wolf. So we'll see how that one goes. But, it's always a tough one. You got to hope that they kind of bounce back here a little bit at home. They've kind of been stagnant as of late. So you're kind of hoping that they find some way to get back into it here. You got 4 games at home. I'm going to be there on Sunday as they take on the Sharks here, but 4-game home stretch, nice chance here, especially before the Four Nations tournament coming up here. It's going to give these guys a good chance, especially at home, to get some crucial points here as the season progresses. And I wanted to show you guys real quick here just the standings, because not only do the Flames are 2 points clear of the Canucks, but one thing to take note of too is that, again, they're 1 point behind the LA Kings for third spot in the Pacific Division, with obviously 2 games in hand, but you never know, right? So they're right there competing with the Kings. They're going to have a makeup game with them, I believe, in April, I think was what they said coming up. So, those games are going to matter in LA, and, you want to hope that they can find a way to get some extra crucial points as the season goes on. But home games this week, guys, you got the Leafs on Tuesday, another big game on Thursday coming up at home. The Avalanche will be traveling to Calgary on Thursday, and then maybe some winnable ones coming up on the weekend as they take on the Kraken. And again, they got the San Jose Sharks on a back-to-back before I believe the Four Nations break is probably next week, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look at the schedule for it, but you got a really good chance here. Pad some points at home, get as much as you can before the break, because you want to come out swinging here and make this last little playoff push here. So just kind of looking at the teams below too. It's funny, like 9 points ahead of the Ducks, you're 8 points ahead of Utah, you're 7 ahead of St. Louis. Like it is a bit of a cushion, but you have so much hockey left to play, and it's funny, like you got, like, they have been playing 500 hockey, and thankfully, like, the teams below them, you haven't been playing or haven't really gotten onto a good stretch recently. So you want to try and take a little bit of advantage here, especially with all of these home games coming up here, to see if they can try to pad some points. So, you are ahead of St. Louis that far, you are ahead of Utah that far, but there's still like that little thing in the back of your mind where you're just like, man, like, all it's going to take is one of those teams to go on a bit of a heater, and they're right back in the conversation. So, you got to try and widen the gap a little bit here. There's still lots to be played for, and, you still have to play games against St. Louis. You still have to play Utah, I think, coming up. You still have a game against Vancouver. They're coming to Calgary at one point, I think, still. You still have the makeup game against LA. I think you still have to play 2 or 3 games against the Kings. I think 2 more games. But, again, lots of important games coming up here. Try and pad some home stats as well, too. Don't love that -11, but hopefully with these additions, too, in Frost and Farabee, that they're going to try and make a little bit of a difference, going forward. So, anyway, that's a quick little look there at the standings. And I think the last little thing I wanted to do before we hopped off today, going to be a really short episode for you guys, but just around the league for anybody to know. Jonathan Quick last night, he became the 15th goalie in NHL history to record 400 wins. So congratulations to him. They mobbed him after the game, and good win for the Rangers too. Last night I was watching a bit of that one, so it was good for them. Happy for them as well too. So that's going to kind of wrap it up. To be honest, it was just going to be another short one today. Just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update as to how this week is going to go. Don't have anything for you on Thursday, unfortunately, but going to do some live games coming up soon for the Flames as the playoff stretch nears. And man, we got I can't wait for Sunday to be in Calgary watching them play San Jose. It'll be really great to be back at the Saddledome, and it might be, being from Ontario, it might be my last time seeing the Saddledome before the new building comes into play. I don't know. We'll try and get out there again next year if we can, but I'm excited to go out there this week. It's gonna be a really nice break, and I'm hopefully gonna be able to give you all the news and action. I'll be in Banff Monday next week. Hopefully with Neil there as well too. We'll break down everything that's happened, with the course of this week, and hopefully all the best as they try to pad some stats, and hopefully we get a little bit further in the standings and then try and secure something for the playoffs. So that's going to wrap it up for me today, guys. Again, real quick episode for you in a nice, cozy little environment for the next couple of days before we fly out to Calgary on Thursday. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you so much for listening again. Really appreciate it. We'll be back to you guys again next Monday for you, and we'll break down everything as I'll be in the Saddledome on Sunday night as the Flames take on the Sharks. And all the home games this week we'll be watching and keeping you guys up to date as well too. And again, anybody else is watching and listening to, we'd love to have you on. If you want to just reach out to us, you want to come and chit chat about the Flames, we're more than happy to kind of do that as well too. So hope everybody's going to have a good Monday. Have a great rest of the week too if you don't hear from me. And we'll see you all again next week in Calgary, Alberta, and Banff, I guess, as well too. So have a great week, everybody, and we'll chat to you all again next week. So have a good week, and we'll see you all later.